also think maybe the class will be a little bit shorter today just because of my energy levels. I'm trying to be honest with myself and not push myself too much. But before we get started, who here is new? So this is your first, second, third class. You just consider yourself new. Okay. Uh-huh. Sure. Okay, go ahead and turn to your left and turn to your right and sign welcome. This I sign welcome. Welcome our newcomers here. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. I'll just quickly go over the rules. Really quick, for those of you who are new, like I said, we want to always be using optimized avatars. The only time that you can use not optimized avatars is when we're going to take a class photo at the end of class. You can change, but until that point, we're going to stay optimized just because, like I said, my computer is going to run better, which means I could teach better, but also we have a lot of people who are on Quest or maybe don't have good computers. Our second rule is to mute your microphone. This is quite a small space, and so little sounds, even something like drinking water or eating out of a bag of chips, is going to be really loud, and everyone is going to be able to hear you. So it's just a lot more courteous to the people around you if you keep your microphone off. However, if I call out, what do you think the answer is, or can I have some suggestions? You're welcome to use your mic. Or also if I say, you know, questions and you don't feel confident enough to sign, you're welcome to use your voice with that. But when it comes to most of like the class time, I'm just gonna have your mic muted. That would be awesome. And then lastly, just be respectful. Don't say anything that you wouldn't want somebody to say to you. So I never want to hear anything like, well, that's a stupid question, or that's a silly mistake, or oh my gosh, why would you think that? You know, we don't need to be tearing people down. Everyone learns at their own pace, and making mistakes is a really great part of learning, and making a mistake is going to help you improve even faster. So I always want to be encouraging mistakes and encouraging silly questions and encouraging you to step up and speak up when you're confused. And that's also your guys' jobs as students. So help each other, encourage each other. If you notice somebody's having a hard time following along, maybe, you know, clarify, did you see that sign, or can I help you? Whatever. But yeah, that's it. And then this is, ignore this. This is a previous one I did previously, but this is actually good. I wanted to talk to you guys about. For those of you who have been here a few times and you're a bit more of my advanced students, I had an idea for my next class of creating a presentation that will basically behave like a test. So my plan is I will be teaching just vocabulary today, but then next week I am hoping to go over basically a test. So we'll be having questions on the board behind me. I'll be signing something, and then I'll be dividing the rooms into A, B, and C, and you can move in the room to show your answer. So just keep that in mind. Maybe study up this week, and if that sounds like a good idea, I hope to see you there. And if you happen to attend next week and you're not really feeling confident enough, you can maybe stand up here and just watch. That's fine. But for my more advanced students, that might be something to look forward to. But yes, Kaden.
What if you don't study?
Well, that's just flexing your power even more. So that's all good. You don't have to study if you don't want to. So today I thought I would teach some adjectives. I also had a friend ask if I could teach some certain signs about like neurodivergent signs or stuff in that vein. So I might teach some of that within adjectives. So I thought I'd just go over some opposite adjectives. Good to know. I did teach this not too long ago, so if you did attend that class, this will be a great review, and maybe this will be on the test. Who knows? I had some more in mind. Does anyone have any other suggestions before we start?
Good and bad.
That's a good one.
Smart,
And then
smart and stupid.
yes. Although I don't want you to use the word stupid against each other. At the end of class, everyone's going to be calling each other stupid. Good and
It's pretty up there.
bad. Sorry?
It's pretty up there. It's pretty up there yet.
Beautiful and pretty are going to be the same. So I'll write that up here as well. Most of these synonyms, synonyms for this are going to be the same sign.
What about
Sign language is like that.
illustration?
I don't know what that word means. So let's start with beautiful. And like I said, this is the same sign for pretty, same sign for gorgeous, whatever, anything. And when you think about beautiful people, you usually think of their face, a beautiful face. So you're going to be highlighting their face. You're going to have an open hand and go around the face to a closed, kind of like a sweeping motion around the face into a close, like this. Beautiful. 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 Same sign for pretty, gorgeous, anything like this. And then the opposite, ugly. Ugly. There's two ways to sign this. You're going to have a pointer finger with both ways. And imagine somebody with a bunch of snot coming out of their nose. It's super ugly. You're like, gross. You're going to have a pointer finger underneath the nose and wiping the snot out from under their nose. So straight finger to a curve like this. And you might also see it with two hands. You might also see like this. Like this. Okay? But what does this kind of look like? Can anyone tell me what this sign means? We learned this in the last class.
Allergies.
Yes, good. So it's not allergies, it's ugly, like this, pulling. I also imagine like a really long mustache that's really unkept. Like you're showing this long, gross mustache full of snot. Ugly or ugly. Like that underneath the nose. So the top of your finger should be touching underneath your nostrils in real life. And then skinny. If you look at all your fingers in front of you, the skinniest one is going to be your pinky. This is your skinniest finger. So you're going to use two pinkies. You're going to put your palms towards yourself and pull up like this, showing a very thin person. Imagine you're kind of showing how thin they are. You're showing their spine or their stomach. Moving upwards. This is very skinny. And this is also used for describing something that's not a person. So you could say a very skinny line or a skinny pole, whatever. If you want to describe something that is thin, it's also the same sign for thin. Thin. And then fat. There's a few different signs for this. The first one is probably exactly what you'd think it is you have your hands on the sides of your tummy and then you go out because you're fat. So you have a big tummy. The sides of you are very big. Fat. But make sure we're not going out. What does this mean if I go out? Showing the front of my tummy.
Pregnant.
Pregnant! Yes, pregnant. There's a baby. No, there's no baby. Babies don't grow on the side of you. Babies grow on the front. Okay, so side, not front. Okay, and then there's another sign where you have a Y hand, and imagine this being one arm, and this being the other arm. And then you have the ground, which is your open hand, and then you're gonna kind of wobble back and forth. I imagine like if a very obese person was walking, they might kind of hobble back and forth. And this also kind of brings up a interesting part of deaf culture, in that deaf people usually are quite blunt and usually just say things how they are, which is why a lot of these signs are very blunt. Like when you're talking about somebody who's fat, even if you weren't signing, you might use this hand gesture. You might show with your hands fat. Or if you're describing how skinny somebody is, you might say, oh, they're super duper skinny. And so when sign language being so blunt, it kind of also encourages this bluntness in behavior. And an old friend of mine who is an interpreter told me, like, if a deaf person calls you fat, it's not because they're trying to make fun of you, it's because they're concerned about your health and they want to make a observation about you because they want to get to know you better and discuss important parts of your life. So there's definitely been a few times where you might be a little bit shocked and confronted with somebody, what they might say, especially with signs that I think hearing people, we sort of get in our own head a lot more and, have this idea of what are they saying? What are they saying? What are they thinking? What are they thinking? But it's a lot harder to do that if you can't even hear what the people around you are saying. So I always thought that was a really interesting observation to say, like, if a deaf person were to say something, it's not out of malice. I mean, it might be, but it's usually more like an observational thing. Just an interesting tidbit. Okay, nice. You know what? Another one I'm going to write that is not the same is friendly as well. That's another good one. Friendly. So nice. Something that feels very nice is a massage. So you're gonna have two open hands and you're gonna go very nicely on the top of your other hand as if somebody was giving you a nice massage and laying their hand over your hand. Or like petting a cat. It is so nice. So nice, okay? And friendly is a different sign. Friendly, you're gonna have two open hands on the sides of your face, and when you're friendly, you smile a lot. So you're gonna be showing that smiling motion, moving upwards, and doing this kind of tickling motion with your fingers. If you don't have index, you could just go from like open to relaxed, open to relaxed, open to relaxed, and that's gonna look like that. But if you have index, or if you're signing in real life, it's more like a tickle motion with each finger, and you're gonna go upwards like a smile. Friendly, you're so friendly, you're so nice. And different than nice is mean. And then another one that I'll write is rude. That's another good one. Rude. So mean, if you're mean to somebody, if somebody's super mean, they might end up getting physical. They might punch, right? So imagine if you're getting ready to punch somebody, you start with open hands, you tense your fingers to a fist, you get really angry, you get mad. So if you're mean, you're gonna have two open hands like this, and then go down and up to a fist, right? I imagine like you're getting ready to fight. You're mean. To a fist. Yeah, mean. Good. And then similarly is rude. If you're rude, remember how we talked about how nice feels nice on your palm, feels nice. But if you're rude, what if somebody was touching your palm, but instead of having an open palm, they had really sharp nails and they put their middle finger down and they went and they cut your hand. Ow. That's how you can remember rude. Rude is a middle finger down. Rude. Yep. If you don't have index, you could just point to your middle finger and pull down and then sign it. Rude. Good. Yummy. Just guess. How would you sign this? Just show me with your yeah. Yummy. Just do a circle on your tummy. Just like, I think even sometimes as an adult, I still do this. Like, oh, that food was so good. That food was so good. But it has to be on your tummy. It's not on your chest. What does this mean if it's on your chest? What is this?
Please.
On your chest.
Disgusting.
Yes, please. Please. On your chest. And what if I have 2 hands? What is this?
Hungry?
Ooh.
Enjoy.
Enjoy or appreciate. Yes, enjoy and appreciate. This is enjoy. 2 hands. So it's only 1 hand on your tummy. Right? And then similarly, gross. There's a few different ways to sign gross or yuck, disgusting, any of sign. You're going to have a claw hand shape, which is like your fingers are a bit more spread apart in real life. Imagine if you're pretending to be an animal, you make a claw hand shape, and you're going to make that same motion on your stomach, but it's a claw hand now. So it's gross. It's disgusting. I'm like your stomach is turning. It feels gross. And then another sign is, sorry, my index is doing this thing where it just won't come up. So ignore that. 2 middle fingers down like this, and then shake them and nod your head no. Gross. Gross. I imagine this. Have you ever been washing the dishes and you reach down and you touch like a wet piece of food and it just is so gross? You just want to like, ah! It's like something is gross on your fingers. You're like, yuck, yuck, yuck. You're shaking it away. Gross. I don't want to touch that. Gross. Yes. Okay. What about easy? If something is easy, easy. This sign is so easy. You're gonna have 2 open hands towards yourself, and you're gonna take your my non-dominant hand and kind of brush the other one kind of towards yourself like this. Like, this is so easy for me to brush my fingers together. So easy. It's so easy. It's not a sweeping motion upwards. What does this mean? If I'm going like this.
New?
Yes.
No.
New. So it's not like this. This is new. But if we're going through the fingers towards ourselves is easy. So easy. Okay. But sometimes things are not easy. Sometimes things are difficult or hard. So this one, if you have index, what you're going to do is a double X hand, which means a peace sign, but both of them are curved like this. But if you don't have index or quest 2 for that matter, then you just do a peace sign. And we're going to start next to our head, above our shoulder, and then pull down to meet our other hand. Hard. Yes. Difficult. Hard. Difficult. This is so difficult. Very similar to problem. This is how you sign problem. Problem. Yes. Problem. So difficult. Hard. Anything like this. Good. So light. Light. There's a lot of different ways to sign light. If you were in my last class, you might remember. I think that was the last class. There's light. Like there's a light above you. You turn it on. It's shining on you. Light. You might see light or clear. This is also clear. Light and clear. You might see light. Middle finger down and flicking your chin. Light. And you might also see middle finger like this for light. Lots of different signs. But they all have in common is this kind of motion of close to open. And I imagine this like turning on the light. You're flicking on the light strip and the sun or the light turns on. It's so light. But it's not like this. What's this mean? What's this?
Shower.
Yes. It's not shower. It's not shower. Light or light or light or light. Yes. And then dark. This is easy. Only one sign for dark. Only one sign. When it turns dark, the darkness goes over and you can't see. It goes in front of your face. Yes. Dark. Dark. Elitnet?
Yeah, for light, wouldn't it also be like this for like the color light? Or like
So
a light color?
Yeah, personally, I only use this sign when I'm directly describing the opposite of dark. So if I were to say, it was dark and then it was light again, or something like that. So like they turned the lights off and then they turned it on and they turned it off and then they turned it on. If I'm describing the experience of it being dark and then becoming light again, that's when I use that sign. Personally, if I'm describing a color, I would just say light or light. But I'm not going to say that's wrong. That's just my personal dialect. If you've seen other people do that, I'm not going to say like, I would not do that. But for me, it makes more sense to say this is like the transition. This is almost, for me, I almost see this as a different sign, as specifically describing the feeling of the going from dark to light, if that makes sense. But good question. Okay. Now, happy. If you've ever seen a really little kid, very happy, they're very happy and they're jumping up and down with joy. You're going to kind of show that with your open hands on your chest, moving upwards. Happy. It's a little similar to excited. Excited was, we're going to have our middle fingers down. Excited, like this. Amy, yeah? I see some people sign down on the, like this. Yeah, I would say that's fine. I think that's more, I'm not sure if that's more like East Coast, but I've personally always signed it up here, but I would totally understand what you're saying if you were to sign that. So yeah, that's interesting. It makes sense too, because this is enjoy and appreciate, like we said. It makes sense. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. And then sad, so sad. If you're sad, you cry, and this is like the sadness washing over you and the tears flowing down. It's so sad, so sad. Yes. So brooding. And fast, as in super fast, fast as light. You're gonna have two L hands, or like pew 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 gun hands, and then you're gonna kind of, well, no, so run is interlocked like this. Some people sign fast interlocked, but you could also just sign them apart. I'm not gonna tell you to interlock them. I think personally, I pretty much always sign it apart. Fast, like you're shooting a gun. Bullets are really fast. Gunslinger, yes. What about slow? Imagine you had a snail and you're watching the snail go all the way up your arm. Slow. Really important to have an open hand. Yep, because a pointer finger is
long.
Yes, long. Pointer finger is long. So open hand, slow. And does it make sense if I were to do this? It's slow. It's super slow. And it's super fast. Doesn't make any sense. You always want to sign slow, slowly, and fast, quickly. Okay. I've never seen anyone do that, but it just makes no sense for you to say like, it's slow, like really fast. Same with happy and sad. You're not gonna say, oh, I felt so sad. Doing a little dance while you're saying sign. You're not gonna do that. And you're not gonna say, I felt so happy, like crying, feeling happy. Well, I guess you could sign happy tears, but you're not gonna make a sad face when you're signing happy. When you're signing words like this, you wanna really exaggerate. And like if you're really happy, you can make a really big smile and really exaggerate it. And that's saying how happy you are. I was so happy. Or if you're saying how sad you were, you were really sad, and you could really lean into it. Yeah. That reminds me of my teacher in college who explained how important expressions were. Yes, expressions are very important. With signing, yes. Well, it makes no sense, right? It's just the same as tone. So you use your tone with your voice to explain how you're feeling, and you're going to use your face in sign language to explain how you're feeling. So if you're communicating with your face something different than your sign, that's going to be really confusing. So it's important to use your face too. Okay, confusing. There's a few different ways to sign confusing. Some people sign point to the head and then kind of mix it all up with two C hands, or you could do two C hands mixing up here, just like this. Confusing. Yep. And then similarly is, oh wait, yeah. Complicated. This might be another word you might want to use. Complicated is you're going to have two pointed fingers. Imagine these as different variables, and they're going in front of your face like this. There's so many different things. You know the meme of like the woman with all the math around her face, and she's really confused? Think of these are all like the math equations going in front of your face. It's very complicated. Yes, very complicated. But then maybe it's not complicated, maybe it's not confusing, maybe it's just simple. Maybe it's Maybelline. Simple. You're gonna have two F hands, and then you're just gonna kind of do this, I don't know, it's a little similar to easy. Remember how easy was kind of a flick motion? Very similar. You're gonna have two F hands with a flick. If you don't have index, so you can't do an F hand, you can say, pretend this is an F, and then use your open hands just like this. So, simple, super simple. Yes. Smart, smart, so smart. You're gonna have a middle finger down on the like kind of temple of your head and go outwards like this with your middle finger down. If you can't do that hand shape, you're gonna be pointing down first and then using your open hand. But that middle finger is so important because what does this sign mean if it's just open?
I don't
No.
know.
I don't know. Wait, does anyone know what the signs mean? I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know? I don't know. Okay, sorry. This means I don't know. This is a sign for I don't know. Okay, so that's literally the opposite. That's the opposite of smart. You want to make sure that that middle finger is down. Smart. Smart. That's a good joke. I gotta remember that one. And then stupid. There's a few different ways to sign stupid. Have you ever seen somebody say like, knock, 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 is anyone there in your head? So literally do that. Knock on your head. Knock, knock, knock. Is anyone home? Knock, knock, knock. Oh, stupid. And you might also do a peace sign and slap on, again, the temple side of your head. Stupid. Stupid. And if something is really stupid, you can exaggerate it and go like stupid, like really hit. But be careful in VR. Do not hit yourself. Okay, it's easier to do in VR, but you can exaggerate. If something is more intensely stupid, or if you're feeling more angry, you might like really lean into it. Ah, that's so stupid, right? But again, don't call yourself stupid and don't call other people stupid. This is only for educational purposes. Okay. Also, good and bad. Good and bad, these ones are easy. Two open hands, once again, starting from our mouth, moving down to the other palm. Good. Good. You might also see some people do just one hand. That's okay. You just want to do one. Same with bad. You might see one-handed or two-hand. Start on your mouth and move down this time. Move away from your mouth. Imagine if you had some bad food, you're going to push it away. You don't want that food. You push it away. It's bad. Bad. Same, you don't have to use your other hand if you don't want to. Bad. 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 Okay, cool. Let's do a review. I'll use a different pen. Beautiful. Everyone in this room. Everyone is beautiful. Yes. Beautiful. 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 Yes, yes, yes. What about skinny? You look skinny. Do you want to go get a hamburger? Yeah. Skinny. Skinny. Good. What about nice? That was so nice of you to offer me a hamburger. Yes. Nice. Nice. Good. What about... Ooh, this is difficult. This is hard. This is difficult. Yes. hard or difficult? Yes. What about fast? Fast. So fast. Show me how fast. Yes. Fast. 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 Good. What about simple? It's a simple sign. Ooh. Okay, this one's harder, which is funny. 2 F hands, and then do kind of, I don't know how you, like an arch or like a flick motion. Simple. It's simple. It's simple. It looks a little similar to this sign. This is judge. Judge. It also looks a little bit like this sign, which is explain. Explain. Okay, so it's a kind of sweep downwards motion, and this one stays still. Simple. Yes? I like to think about a slide. Yeah, like a simple slide. That's a good way to think of it. Slide down. Zawa? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, or just swipe. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, swipe or no swiping. Yes. And smart. Like all of you. You're all so smart. Yes, yes. Middle finger down. You are all so smart. 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 And ooh, this one might be trickier. Friendly. Friendly. Yes. Yes. When you're friendly, you have a big smile on your face. You're so friendly. So friendly. Good. And gross. Yuck. Yeah, either gross, or gross with that claw, like your upset stomach. Ugh, gross. Also, it's kind of slang, but some people you might literally just see them sign vomit. This is how you sign vomit. Some people might just say like barf, gross, bleh, vomit. That's kind of like a slang for it as well. Cool. Okay, any questions? Does not have to be about what I taught. Could be about anything at all to do with the sign language, please, or deaf people. Yes? Shadow? I've actually never seen a sign for shadow. And I think there should be one. But even when I Google it, it's like really bizarre. Like it's like black shape, follow person on ground. Like it's like a bunch of different signs instead of just one. At least the last time I've checked. So I would fingerspell it. But have you seen one personally? Okay. Basic? Oh, that's a good one. So basic is going to have a B hand, so your thumb is tucked in. If you don't have an index or you can't do that hand shape, you're just going to have open hand. And then you're going to have another hand kind of flat, horizontal, and have this B hand underneath. I think of it as if you're showing different, like, if you were to imagine lines in front of me as levels. This is the basic level, this is the intermediate level, this is advanced. So I'm showing which level it is. Basic. And then like if you're saying advanced or like higher up, you go this motion. So you're showing, you imagine these lines, you're moving up the lines, but down here is basic. You're showing where it is. Yeah. B for basic. There we go. I wish I could read this easily. Did you have a question too, Undead? Or was that just like, okay. Oh man. Lost that train of thought. Okay. What about Amy? Yeah. Before I was speaking with my teacher, and they are deaf, and we met. We met at Starbucks, and we were talking, and I noticed that they were very Wait, sorry, finger spell that again? Open. They're very open, yes. About a lot of things, yes. And it's not normal in hearing culture, yes. 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 There is a very common joke of never ask a deaf person about their toilet troubles because they're going to tell you everything. They're going to tell you the color, the texture, the smell, how long it lasted, everything. You just don't want to ask, okay? It's what I said about before of being blunt. There's also a big culture of being open, and I think a lot of that becomes from the same thing I said before of when you can hear, you kind of are hyper aware of every little thing around you, but when you're deaf, you just don't have that opportunity. So you kind of can't. I used to volunteer at a deaf church, and the first day I walked in, they had a menorah. It was a Christian church, but they had a menorah and a Christmas tree in June. And I couldn't help but ask the priest, why do you have a menorah if this isn't a Jewish church? And he just looked at the menorah and looked at me and said, I don't know, why not? And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like that sense of like pressure and kind of, well, I mean, there's still tons of social pressure, and I'm not trying to say that like deaf people are like this amazing, like never feel anxious about other people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm really simplifying this, but there is a part of pressure that's been removed because I think everyone has experienced walking and you hear something behind your back. You hear somebody saying something and you wish you didn't hear it and you feel really anxious about it. Like you just can't experience that if you're a fully deaf person. And I think that helped grow this culture of being very open and sharing a lot. And it's also important to remember that as hearing people, you know, we could walk up to anyone and talk to anyone. We're going to the store, we could talk to anyone, going on the bus, taking an Uber, whatever. You could just talk to everyone. But when you're deaf, you're like so much more isolated. And the times in which you can communicate with somebody, sometimes depending on where you live, could be like 1 in a million. So when you do get that time to talk with somebody, are you going to waste your time beating around the bush, or are you gonna be like, dude, I had this terrible poop yesterday, let me tell you all about it? Like I mean, it's just not worth it. It's not worth wasting this precious time using your precious language that for years has been stripped away from deaf people, that deaf people had to fight to be able to sign. Deaf people had to stand up and say, I want to be able to communicate my way. And that generational independence and generational isolation never goes away. And, you know, pair that with the fact that sign language is so blunt. It's just that same thing of why not? Why not talk about it? Why not have a menorah in a Christian church? Why not? I think, and that was so beautiful to me when I first started getting involved in my local deaf community, was how honest everyone was. And like the amount of times that I've been confronted with something because I realized that I wasn't really being honest with myself and I was kind of hiding things about myself that I didn't really realize. And I think it's amazing. And I kind of wish that all hearing people get to experience that because I think it's really beautiful. And I hope that maybe one day those two worlds can collide a bit more and maybe we could learn more from that. Like one last story and then we'll go on. But like, I remember I went to a deaf social and I was getting to know somebody. And I said, I don't remember what it was, but I think somebody said something and I wanted to talk to her about it. And I said, can you keep a secret? And she just looked at me and said, no. And I was like, oh, I was just like, and she's like, no, if you don't tell me a secret, like she just straight up told me, she's like, no, I will not keep a secret. I like to talk about things. If you want a secret, don't tell me. But it was so funny because I don't think I've ever had a hearing person say that to me, ever. But yeah, anyways, just like little things like that. And I'm sure if you just spend enough time with deaf people, you'll start to notice it too. But it's wonderful. I love it. I try and apply that to my life as much as I can, especially hanging out with deaf people almost every day. It's kind of hard not to. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a really good tidbit of deaf culture. Anything else? before. Yes, Kiri. Excuse
How do
me.
you say friend?
French or friend?
Friend. Friend.
Oh, friend. So 2 pointer fingers representing you and the person in front of you, and then you're gonna have them interlocking on top of each other, like this relationship is forming, and you're becoming 2 people interlocked. Yeah. Yeah. Good question. Cosmic?
Hello. Yeah. So you kind
Excuse me.
of slightly talk. You kind of slightly talked about it when you were talking about how it doesn't make sense to sign sad with a happy face.
Mhm.
Is there more we should know about I don't know how to sign it. Non-manual signals and yeah.
I think questions is also a really big one. So, you like in verbal language, when we ask a question, we go up at the end of the sentence. So, do you want to go? We're asking a question, so we go like that. But you can't do that in sign. You're not going to put your sign up higher. So the way that you show that is with your face. So you're going to do a questioning face. You're going to furrow your eyebrows down or raise them up. But of course, in VR, we can't do that. So instead, we're going to lean in, tilt their head. There's also, you could sign the word question at the end. And this literally means, hey, by the way, this is a question. It's like adding a question mark, question. And just other things like, another good one would be like fat and skinny. So if I say fat and I want to say like really fat, I'd puff out my cheeks. I wish I had my face tracker on because I could push up my cheeks, but it's off right now. But if you're saying really fat, then you go and you puff your cheeks out. Or if you're saying really skinny, then you'd suck your cheeks in. So things just, or if you're describing a lot of things, you're gonna kind of make your teeth big, like cha. That's the sound you're gonna make. Ch. It's like lots of things. So I mean, there's a long list. Maybe in the next lesson, there's actually a list of things. Off the top of my head, I'm probably gonna miss a few, but those are the ones I can think of. That's a really good question. Next, I will not forget that, and I will put that in my next lesson. So thank you.
Maybe
I
think that'd be cool.
Did you have a question, yeah, Mom? Or did I? Okay. FN. Sorry, can you scoot this way? Kiri's name, please, is actually blocking your. Oh, thank you, Kiri. F. Okay. A. F-A. Fainting. Fainting. Faint is actually the same sign as fall. So you're gonna show your 2 legs standing and then they fall. Yeah, faint. Yeah, because not all fainting, but some fainting you fall. So it's kind of like that motion. Yeah. Excuse me. Any other questions before we take a picture? ASL Tavin, yes.
Katie has one.
I
Okay,
see a lot of
I
people
will get that.
make the same, like, I see a lot of people have problems with must, should, and need, so maybe you should explain that.
Okay, that's a good one. So what they're talking about is the sign for need is a X hand, so a bent finger, 2 times like this, or no, I guess not 2, just repeated. And then should is the same sign, and then must looks very similar. So the way I differentiate it is must is 1 time. Must, because it's a must. You're putting your foot down. You must. And then when it comes from need and should, that's just your face. So should, and need. You make it e. I wish I had my face tracker that I could show, but in real life, you're gonna be saying need or should. But in VR, it's just context, if I'm honest. That's a good question. Thank you. Amy? Yeah, have to. Same thing. Have to. Must. You have to. It's a must. Yeah. Somebody over here had a question. I didn't hear the name. Was it
Priya has a question as
Neko?
well.
Nico.
Priya over there.
Okay.
She don't have her mic set. What do you want to ask though?
Okay, I got my mic working. how are you? Like the sign for how are you?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I'm kidding. So how is signed like this. How, kind of like a curve motion. How. You might also see how. This is 2 thumbs, just one turning, that's fine too. And then you, just point. How are you? Or how are you? And then front. Keep, good question. Keep is 2 K hands and just 1 tap on the wrist. Keep. Oh wait, no. Whoa! Okay, sorry. Yeah, just a tap. Keep. I'm trying to remember if there was another sign on the East Coast, but I'm thinking of careful, not keep. Own. I sign own like this. Own. Open hands to a Mamma Mia hand shape or flat O on my chest. Own. It's very similar to have. Have. Own. Have. Yeah. Good question. Care. That's a sign. This is also the same sign for care. Thank you. My brain was doing that like Internet Explorer. Like I knew there was something. Okay. Care. Same sign for care. Beep beep.
Dial-up sound, please.
Uh-huh. Oh, basic like this? Yeah, that's fine. I'd say yeah. I've seen that before too, I think. That might be confused with below as well. So this is below for me, and then above, below, above. But I guess if in the context of classes and the context of stuff, it's like below advanced. So that makes sense. So yeah, I'd say yes. But for me, I'm more assigned this is below and above, like that. But I won't say that's wrong. Demi? Oh, they have a question. Hello, 3. Quiet's 2 signs, either quiet, like you think, shh, quiet, or quiet, like making an X. Quiet. Shh, quiet. Yeah. And then the opposite of that would be loud, is pointing to your ear and then making fists, like showing the vibrations. Pointing to your ear and then going out like this. I've also seen, and the I know the signed exact English is like this. Loud. Loud. But don't do that. That's signed exact English, not ASL. But it's just interesting. Yeah. Loud. And then sound is open hand. Sound. Like that. Sound. Yeah. So loud is fists. Yeah. That was a good question. Anything else before we take our picture? I'll take like 1 or 2 more. Okay, cool. Also, if you have a last minute one, you could chat to me after the picture. Okay, let's go. Run to the picture. And yes, you can use